So now that we're aware of the vital signs, what can we as parents do? This is the actions that we can take as parents to create safety and support for our kids' health. The first thing is we can educate ourselves about marijuana and vaping amongst our youth. You've watched a video here and we've given you a lot of information. Go home and do your own research. Discuss with your family the values around marijuana or vaping. Have in-depth discussions so that you know where each of the persons in the family stand, and you can create a family value system around what you want to happen. The next thing that you can do is to be aware of your rights as a parent to drug screen your kids. We take our kids to the dentist every 6 months to make sure that their teeth are healthy and they're brushing them properly. We take them to the doctor every year to make sure that they're healthy and growing on the growth chart and staying within the normal limits. Another thing we can do for our kids' health is to drug screen them regularly. You have the right to know what's going on with your child's health as a parent, and part of that health is the use or not use of drugs. This is the type of thing you can decide to incorporate into your family's written constitution. David Siegel, the founder of Victoria's Voice and these videos, tells a story often about meeting a woman in a public place, and after having the devastating loss of losing his daughter Victoria, he often talks to people on the street about the importance of drug screening their kids. He remembers meeting this woman and having a casual conversation about it. And the woman said, "My son is so special. He went to the best schools. He got the best grades. He's doing wonderful at life. I'm so grateful you told me about this, but my son is okay. I know that he isn't using drugs." When she went home, she thought about it longer and it started to really unsettle her. She got worried and she went into her son's room and did a search. Unfortunately, she found lots of drugs in the son's room. When she spoke to her son about it, he admitted that he had been using them for some number of months. She immediately got help, put him in treatment, and got counseling herself. And later at an event with David Siegel, she came up to him and said, "David, I think that you may have saved my son's life. All that time, he had been using and I didn't know." This woman wasn't naive, she wasn't stupid. She believed in her child. She loves her son the way that you love your children. And she just couldn't imagine that when he's doing so many things right, he could be participating in something so dangerous. So tips on how to have these discussions with your kids is being open, not asking closed questions, open questions. How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts on that? Do you know anybody who's struggling? What would you do if you saw this? How would you respond if your friend came to you? These kinds of questions open up a conversation. Whereas if we said, "Have you ever done drugs?" No. "Would you ever do drugs?" No. "Have you known anyone who's doing drugs?" No. Those are closed conversations and limit the growth. If we have open-ended conversations with the ability for us to listen and pay attention, not interrupt the child, and then give feedback as we go and encourage them to critically think about their decisions, this will encourage them to be able to come to you when the time matters. Offer your child facts about the risks. We don't have to scare them into saying, "This is your brain on drugs." It's better to say, "What do you think would happen?" What I know scientifically is some people struggle with drugs and end up in death or any other problems mentally. What do you think could happen? That's an open-ended conversation. I know when I talk to my kids about drugs, I happen to have avoided drugs, and I tell them how I avoided it and why I avoided it. But I also tell them that the potency was different back then. People were smoking joints that were mostly garbage outside the school. Nowadays, the potency is so strong that they face real consequences for their use. I have a treatment center that's filled with men who are struggling with substance-induced psychosis from the high-potency marijuana. It's a specialty of mine now. Can you imagine running down the street because you smoked a joint with so much THC that you lost your mind? That's exactly how I talk to my kids, and you can too. Ask them about their understanding of the potency that they could be exposed to compared to what you were exposed to. If you as a parent do find that your child has started using marijuana or vaping or alcohol, it might be a good thing for you to sit down with the child and help them understand why are they using. Is there some underlying trauma or stress that they're trying to cope with and use substances to cope? This could be a good discussion for you to have. Also, it's a time to get support with professionals. It's important for us to know who our community helpers are. It's not always the case that every kid who's smoking marijuana needs to go away to treatment for months on end, far away from home. The first step is to get in front of a professional and ask them for guidance. Many times it will be, let's start with weekly drug screens and counseling. That gives you a strong foundation to build upon to know what next steps to take. Please visit the Parent Resources section of this session for more information and where you can find help. So, now that we have covered vaping and the gateway drugs alcohol and marijuana, on our next episode, we will dive into the deep end and cover other drugs.
Get naloxone spray. Give to stop overdose. Save a life right now. For more information, visit getgivesafe.org.